Accountability in Liberia. It is every Wednesday on Truth 96.1 FM, and it runs from 11 to 12 noon, and it is a primary radio-based communication information dissemination platform of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is a key advocacy tool that provides essential information around the state of the fight against corruption, national integrity building efforts, as well as promotes a culture of accountability, transparency, integrity, and evidence-based decision-making across all sectors of Liberia. Under such National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program funded by the government and people of Sweden through the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, or CEDA, the radio program serves as a coordination, engagement, and engagement platform that rallies citizens and other stakeholders support for the fight against corruption in Liberia. As part of this program, CENTAL has established the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center known as ELAC. The ELAC is an independent platform that enables citizens to freely report and seek redress to corruption and other integrity-related issues within their communities, places of work, and the country at large. There are a team of professionals at ELAC who are ready and willing to provide redress to whatever complaint you may file. So we encourage citizens to report issues about corruption to our Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. There are different means through which you can report. We have our hotline number that both Orange and Lone Star GSMs can call. So the number to call to report issues about corruption and integrity related is to our ELAC is 4432. 4432, that's the number you can call to report to our advocacy. You have facts. For anything you want to report, you can report to our Advocacy and Legal Advice Center just by calling that number. Both Orange and Lone Star GSMs, you can call the number. So 4432. We have walk-in services. You can walk in. CENTAL is located just opposite the John F. Kennedy Medical Center. Right at the intersection, you can just come in and upstairs. So we also have our Facebook address. It's CENTAL ELAC, CENTAL ALAC, all in uppercase. We also have the email address. The email address is alac@cental.org.lr. It's alac@cental.org.lr. So the Integrity Watch radio program is very civil and informative. It has zero tolerance on the use of invectives. So guests who are invited and appear on the program, they are guarded against that. So today is Wednesday, November 10th, 2021, and this edition of the program is looking at increasing wave of stealing at the Ministry of Transport and Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The reason why this has come up again for us to talk about it because it keeps coming in. We keep receiving complaints. There are tons of complaints about these, particularly these two ministries, the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. A few editions ago, we talked about it, but it has not ceased. The number of complaints keep increasing. People keep complaining about these two ministries. The Ministry of Transport, we're particularly talking about the vehicle registration and driver license issuance division, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the passport division. We keep receiving these complaints from these ministries about stealing. There are a group of people who consider themselves to be expediters. So they are all around the place and asking people to help you. Firstly, when you get to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, just up, you stand right in front of Stella Maris, or right opposite the ministry, or around Stella Maris. You just stand there and look, you get discouraged. When you see the number of human beings gathered there from as early as 6 in the morning, when you see human being there, you get discouraged. You don't even want to go closer. That's what I'm talking about at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Passport Division. When you see the human being, you get afraid. So that is the reason why those people who call themselves expediters, they now use that opportunity rather, to exploit, to take extra money from those who are applying for passports. Because when you see the queue, when you see the gathering of human beings, the people who are gathered there to get access to passport, you will not even want to remain there. You want to leave already. So that's the reason why they use that opportunity to be able to exploit people. So the complaints keep coming up. So the Ministry of Transport, of recent, the ministry has been carrying out joint inspection. So the Ministry of Transport, the Ministry, the police have been doing inspection of recent. So those who want to avoid the embarrassment of being parked along the way, or vehicle being impounded and all of that, they are now trooping to the ministry to get their vehicles registered or to obtain a driver's lesson. As a result of that, already access these services are very, very difficult. They are not as difficult as may appear, but they make them to appear very, very difficult. So the easiest thing that we have always said here for the ministries of transport and ministries of transport, Ministry of Health, the Foreign Affairs, for all of them, those who are providing services, to just outline the steps people are supposed to follow to access these services. So that will avoid people being confused, people looking for somebody to help them in the process. So if you just had it visibly shown that when you enter this place, if you came to access Java's lesson, this is the procedure you're supposed to follow. These are the requirements, and they are all listed. The same at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Passport Division. You just indicate what all people are supposed to do. You have to come with so and so requirements, and then after that, you proceed to this person, to this point, and then at the end of the day, you are given so and so number of days to access your passport. I mean, with that, you ease the burden of people looking for people to help them. It will reduce people being exploited, and people can just come and see the process. And then also, those who are there, who are being paid to provide those services, they should be monitored. And those who are monitoring them to ensure that they make sure those people who supposed to be served are served, rather than people going outside and collecting people document and bringing it to them. While those in the queue are not being served, they are busy with documents that have come uncovered. So the people in the queue are being monitored too. But the people who are providing part of documents they are working on, those documents came uncovered. So when the supervisors are working and they are very proactive, they will come and monitor those people who are working. If you see somebody working, and then you have people, they only one person before the desk, but you see stockpile of papers before the person. Who are these? Who are these for? What are you doing with them? These are questions they're supposed to be answering, but they don't. People don't monitor them, so they go ahead and just suffering the people. The people keep standing there and they cannot be served. So we said it again. The reason why we're breaking this because the complaints have not ceased. It keep coming. All of them almost on a daily basis. We keep receiving complaints about Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Pastoral Division, and Java lessons. So that is the reason why we have come up recent. What have you? So we are concerned about species, and we are concerned about the increasing wave of suspicious and our unexplained killings that are going on in the country. These issues have been happening, and we listen to the police authority when people were, alarming about it. Police told us that most of the cases that were being talked about were all false alarms. And the people were using the situation to taint the government's character and image outside. The police dismissed or unexplained killing that occurred, but of recent, high-profile Himothle murdered. What made it more confirmed is authority of the Ministry of Justice and police have sent out reward about 15,000 thereabout reward for anyone who's going to provide credible information leading to arrest of individuals who are linked or individual who is linked to this particular or these killings. So that's what makes it, we can speak to that boldly and say, yes, the killings are unexplained. And they said they have launched autopsy to be able to, come up with clear results. And we hope that these autopsy results will not cause more questions, bring about more questions than answer, like other reports that came up in the past. Some reports came up and people had more questions, and even up to now, people still have questions on their lips regarding some of the unexplained killings that went on, reports that came out. So we hope that these reports concerning these matters will come up, and the investigative reports going to be very clear about what happened, so that we are talking about it because it concerns the safety and the security of all of us. So we don't know who is next. We find ourselves as people who are advocating and leading efforts to make sure that our country is safe, and our country and people are safe, and they can move about freely, and we can have the worth of our country's resources. So we are on the front line. So we must raise alarm. And apart from that, those who are being victimized, they are our citizens, and they should not be victimized in such a manner. So that is the reason why we will hold the police authority and the Ministry of Justice feet to the fire, so that they can produce and provide updates regarding these unexplained killings. So that is that about the unexplained and suspicious killings in the country. So the next thing we want to talk about the issues regarding Madam McKinney Keita. So we want to provide you update regarding that matter. We said here that we are going to follow up on this, and we've been following up. So today, as part of our follow-ups, we spoke with briefly with the spokesperson of the Liberia National Police. So he put us in 1 hour, but he has not reached his office. But what shocked me was the information investigation being forwarded to the Liberia National Police sounded strange to my colleague Moses. Because when I asked Moses, he sounded as though he has not heard about this particular matter being forwarded to the LMP, even though the Minister of State for President Police with the acquiescence of the LACC, that is the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. But when I spoke with Moses this morning, he didn't sound like somebody who have any knowledge about that. But he said he was going to check up and call us in 1 hour. We called him back, but Moses has not reached to his office. So we're going to follow up with Moses on this matter so that we can provide further updates regarding the matter. So we went another step further. We contacted LACC. As yet, this matter has not reached the desk of or has not reached the LACC. Mr. Clark of Communication, the matter has not reached the LACC. That was confirmed. So the minister said it was forwarded to the Liberia National Police with the LACC in the know. But I mean, we keep following up, but we have not gotten any clue about this matter being, with any of the institutions that were mentioned. But we are still going to follow up with police. We're going to do that and provide you update on the matter. But so far as it stands, it appears like that matter has been killed. It has been murdered. It has been murdered long ago because the way things are going, it appears like that was just another dead case. There has been tons of cases that have been talked investigative reports are the and of those cases and reports just went and they not on arrival. Maybe he may have died on arrival when the president made a first error by his legal advisor rather than LACC to investigate. Apparently, that was the point of murder. But we're not stopping there. We're still going to follow up to know where we are and see how that matter can be brought to your attention. So we also follow up on the cases that were forwarded, that were sent back to the LACC by the Ministry of Justice. So we wanted to know, where are we? Cases were sent to the Ministry of Justice for prosecution and or investigation. The Ministry of Justice sent them back. And there were two cases. Key among them were the conflict of interest case involving the vice chair of the LACC, Councillor Kanyo Bagba, and the LWSC case. So we follow up about that and about all cases, and the two cases, yes, they were sent to the LACC back, and then according to the head of program, the head of program, the investigative division at the LACC, head of program. He told us that the matter the issue of the LWSC, those concerned, they have been asked to restitute the money or they be prosecuted. So the legal team of the LACC, the legal team is engaging with the people to make sure that this matter they restitute or be prosecuted. But the only thing about it, those who are accused, they are still working. They got no sign of case. They got there are no sign of issue being after them, especially regarding corruption issue. That that's lingering over their character and their work that they do. They are still occupying their positions and they are working. So that's with following up on that. So the conflict of interest case issue involving the alleged conflict of interest matter involving the vice chair of the LACC, Kanyo Bagbala. The investigation, according to the manager, is ongoing. So he said to us, the division, because we're concerned about people may be afraid or skeptical to investigate their boss or their bosses, because Kanyo may be the one who's supervising or be one of the supervisors, and then you, the inspectors or investigators, going to investigate your boss. That's very difficult thing to do. He said, yes. Corruption investigation in Liberia generally is a difficult task to do. To investigate corruption in Liberia is difficult. But the issue with Kanyo and the investigation division of the LACC is independent. They report to the BOC, the Board of Commissioners. So they don't report to Kanyo, neither to the chief. So they report to the Board of Commissioners. So their work, there's no interference with their work. They're going on with the investigation, gathering all of the big information so that they can be able to go ahead with the investigation. The investigation is ongoing. Yes, that's what he said. So we heard about what they have said. So we look forward to the outcome of this investigation. He said there's no interference. They are going on. They will do the investigation without fear nor favor. So yes, we look forward to the outcome of the investigation. So thank you ever so much. We'll take a break. Then we'll now go over to our points, the point of our discussion this morning. We'll go over to that point. So let's take a break. Thank you ever so much for rejoining us. If you just joined us, the program you are in tune to is called Integrity Watch. It's a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is every Wednesday on Truth 96.1 FM. It runs from 11 to 12 noon. It is the primary radio-based communication and information dissemination platform of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. So today we have come to the reason why, like we said, we are bringing this particular topic to you again for further discussion is the matter has not ceased. We keep receiving complaints. So we have received complaints about stealing. So we're not going to dress sugarcoat it to call it corruption. It's a stealing. It's an act of stealing. The stealing that's going on at few ministries. Key amongst them are the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But we have received complaints from about the Ministry of Health, the RIA, about people, call themselves expediters who are just there when people get there and they ask you to pay above. Sometimes you pay 2 times of what you're supposed to pay for the service that is being provided. You pay more than what you're supposed to pay because they say you'll be able to expedite the matter, to speed up the matter for you. But why is it slow, in fact? When people are being paid to render particular service, why will the process be slow? What are they doing? Who's monitoring them? If there are supervisors who are supposed to be supervising these people, the supervisor is supposed to be asking them, what are you doing here? Somebody is standing maybe in the corridor and doing nothing, doing working hours. What are you doing in the corridor? What did you come to do here? Did you come to interact with clients? And what is discussion about? Why are the clients not going directly to the desks to be able to be served? And then you get to those who are sitting behind the desks. Ask them, why are these documents doing here? Why are you not looking after these documents? Who are they for? You see only one person standing in front of the desk. They see tons of documents in front of the person who's providing the service. So where are these documents coming from? But the line, you see the people standing in queue from inside all the way outside. They are not being served. But people are being served who are passing back doors. I mean, these are not correct. So like I said, we received complaints about RIA, about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, about the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Health, the Birth Certificate Division, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Passport Division, the Ministry of Transport, the Vehicle Registration, Driver License Issuance Division. These are the places we've been receiving complaints about. But today we want to talk about two of these, about these 4 areas that we just mentioned. So we just want to talk about transport and foreign affairs. What is your experience? What have you experienced, especially of recent, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Passport Division? What can be done to mitigate this matter? Because the people who are going there, they're going to, I saw in the paper recently, the director of passport, he was able to generate, he said he generated over 400,000 for the government. That's good. Very. So you should have even doubled that money. You should even double that money to $1 million, only if the right things are being done. We could raise good revenue from that passport division if we just regulate it better and make sure that the people who are paying the money, they are served and served with dignity. People can come to generate, to pay money for the government, and these immune as to the of foreign affairs. As early as 6 in the morning, like I said, you come into town and you see people are gathered already. They line from inside all the way outside. Under the hill, you see people all around there. The line, there's no way except for the line. Sometimes the line even want to come on the road. They have to read that, how to curve the line all around the place. Who out there you have your experience? You have to share your experience. What's your experience with the Ministry of Transport? Or recent, you see the place is crowded. every day, people going there to access driver's lesson. People don't want to be subjected to your vehicle being impounded or being asked to pay money to inspectors on the field. I mean, you rather pay that money to the government's cover, and then you can be able to move freely rather than being harassed or being stopped along the way. Somebody asking you to pay money. If you just took your time and went through the process, if the process was okay, that you could just go through the process, you wouldn't pay more than what you would pay if you subject yourself to being impounded every day. Your vehicle being stopped every day, put aside, you have to pay this amount, you pay the money. The next day you come back, you got to go through the same thing. I mean, so why do you suffer yourself that way? So the best thing to do is to go and register, pay the fees in government's revenue. But people are willing to pay, but the process of accessing these documents, we need to work on them. So that is why we have come today to talk about it, to bring it back to for your input, to tell us, share with us your own experience. What have you experienced with the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, especially the passport division? So the numbers to call 077 01 62 077 01 752. That's the orange number that you can call. The blue star number. Let's take this first caller. Please lower the volume of your radio and let's hear you. Give your experience. What have you experienced of recent with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, especially the Passport Division and Transport? What's your experience? Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thanks to Alu speaking from the DRC group. Hello?
Yeah, let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, actually, that's why you have said recently, I was called into place to various places. And we all are Liberian. We are happy to pay taxes to get our country going better. But the proceeding of doing those things is very difficult for people.
Okay.
Where are the reasons why we have administrative dealing in Kakata in other places of the country? Those places cannot be awake when it is time of registration, it is time of passport. People can have come from Nigeria to come and stay in Monrovia for 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get a passport, and they will never even get it, and they are not living here. Mm-hmm. So this is so difficult. Up to now, I am not getting my passport sent according for it. Up to now, I pay everything I got to receive. I got everything. I have not gone to have a passport.
So your recommendation would be for them to make sure that the service centers in the different counties can be able to provide these services, right?
That's my recommendation. It's very serious about that. And we'll also let that for the government to spread those visions to people.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. Okay, we have another call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Your name?
My name is Joshua. My concern has to do with the Ministry of Transport division.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Ministry of Transport, over there, when you go there, not everybody knows the way with the procedure.
Mm-hmm.
When you go there, instead of let me just classify there as a tax collector. Instead, the tax collector will help you through, they will never.
Mm-hmm.
Those are there that are rough people, they are more than they are majority than the people are being
the service providers. Okay.
You see them with a flag on there, written on the Ministry of Transport, MOT.
Mm-hmm.
The outside says in the sense that they in the ministry itself. Oh, my brother, I can help you, my sister, I can help you. If you go to crying at the enough for phone.
Okay.
And we are cry, we are out. Call on touch you, no help. No help.
What do you?
They are donating to me two welcome for the first time. The second one is Queen Abby. Myself, I went there, I struggled on the I was here to deal with that. And others will ride with me, crying, coming in collect the money they have, they empty vest, and then they can know where to be found.
What do you recommend?
Yeah, my recommendation is to get a special inspector on the field there that no car that stay outside there.
Mm-hmm.
That stay outside there whenever you see people to ask them they call out the regular people to tell them why is the department. Because the department there is different they got all of people are responsible for travel lesson. They got people there that are responsible for a bill of land, which is a capital document. When you take a car from you start garage.
Yeah.
And when you just enter in there, you don't know your way out. You will just pay your money. Even if you get 2 or 3,000 registration money, they will give you free. Then you can run inside.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So they need proper supervision. That's why he's suggesting.
Yes.
Thank you. Your points are well noted.
All right.
Okay. We have. Okay, just hang up the line. We have another caller on the line. Good morning. Please
Good morning.
lower the volume of your radio.
Yeah, my name is Ibrahim Kubo, calling from 15 Gate.
Okay, Mr. Kubo, let's hear you.
Yeah, the passport department. There's a reason they changed out that director of passport. Because when you go over there, the schedule did that they can put on your paper.
Mm-hmm.
Where you go pick up your passport. It can be different from what they can be doing. Just imagine since September, I started my process. And they scheduled me for the 21st of September to go pick up passport. I went there September, I couldn't get it. They transfer again. The 26th, we went there, no way. We left over there up to now crying, and we can't get no understanding. Up to now, I get fed away. I just left the passport there. I left there. Because no things in order over there.
Okay.
Yo, everything just started when you go there, no restriction. When you pass through the record procedure, maybe they didn't want a record procedure because when you pass through the record procedure, you can spend like 4-5 months there. But if you go there, other people passing on the side and they're doing their process, smoothly. But you going by the record procedure, just imagine when water they re-wet us. Last September, they re-wet us. We left on that rain, the rain wet us, and up to now we couldn't get our passport. We left it there. Because the director, no restriction. You can just turn into a whole lot of lies. When you count into a whole lot of lies, when you go nothing. We went there the other time again, they kept on in the system, they were checking the system. As someone, we did our biometric. Just imagine in September we did a biometric. Then he said to us that they did the biometric and they left the how they call it, the process open. So we just re-biometric again. We're checking the system, passport complete, but we can't get a passport. What a reason. There's a need that they change that director of passport over there. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, AB. Okay, we have another caller. Please lower the volume of the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Let's hear you. Please lower the volume of your radio. Call your name and where are you calling from? Yeah.
My name is Mohammed Agogo Fambola.
Mr. Fambola.
I'm calling from Broadway.
Let's hear you, Mr. Fambola.
I went to the passport division to get my passport. When you get there, they say go online. Then when you get online, it's $5 to register.
Okay.
You go online, you can't get it until you pay another $10 inside. Then you can see your passport on. If not, you can't get that passport the time you want it. They got me discovered I was a travel, I did not travel. I left the passport, I went back home, I started so finally with pain, agony in my heart.
Mr. Fambola, you said they asked you to go online. It's $5. Yeah. Then when you go inside again, another $10. What is $10 for?
Yeah. The $10 is to speed up the process. You cannot speed up the process, then you can't get your passport. You pay the $40, you can't get the passport the time you want to get it. You will get it more than 2, 3, 4, 5 months.
So it's $40 for the passport, $5 for online, $10 for speeding up.
Yeah, inside.
Okay.
So you see,
what do you recommend?
I'm recommending that you should have, as you said, you should have a supervisor. This is our country. You should stop robbing one another. This is our cause we cannot even move. We're not progressing.
Okay.
Why? We're not progressing. I mean, we're not progressing. Why should we be like that? You go to other country, you get past other development, and they put the rural counties. The rural county, they're the same, another foreign ministry. Then the process the passport to come in Monrovia and spend the whole time, then you can't get it. So this day I could not drop because I don't get a passport. You know what I mean?
Sorry. Okay, Mr. Bole.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we have another caller on the line. Good morning. Your name, where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is Mohammed Keita.
Mr. Keita, let's hear you. What's your experience?
I'm calling from 77.
Let's get your experience.
The problem is from the both side. The people who come for the service and the employee of foreign affairs.
Okay.
I'm saying that because I've been Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Okay.
I used to sound passport for people.
All right.
Now,
Mr. Keita, what year was that?
It was during the transitional period
of Judy Bryant?
The transitional period of you Muslim people were in office.
Oh, okay. All right, okay.
And then also back then.
All right. Okay.
Now, the problem is from the both sides. The people who come for service and the other people who have foreign affairs. When they come, they don't want to exercise patience. They want their passport immediately. As a result, when they have somebody working at the foreign affairs, they go through them. And they will come to us, oh, Minister, please sign the passport for me. It's urgent, it's this and that. Which is not even urgent. So the problem is on both sides.
Mr. Keita?
Yes.
What level of patience can one exercise when you are told, register today, and you go there, they tell you, say, come back maybe after 6 months? What level of patience can one exercise?
It can be 6 months. Usually one would say at least 1 month or less than 1 month you will get a passport. But when you come and say, no, you want a passport right now. You want a passport right now. Why you didn't apply for the passport ever since? Then the people who work there too, they will take the money from you and go talk to the minister or the passport director to sign your passport.
Okay.
This is the problem.
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is the people to exercise patience and anybody working foreign affairs. You are caught for receiving money from the people to give a passport to the director to sign, and you should be punished. Both sides. The people working there should be punished for the act, and the who bringing the passport also to say, oh, want the passport right now, if you can exercise patience, forget about them.
All right. Okay, Mr. Keita.
Everything will go smoothly.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. We have another caller on this line. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm okay. Let's hear your name and where are you calling from? Salif? You said Sarif or Salif?
Salif.
Okay, Mr. Salif. Let's hear you.
Yeah, concerning the issue of the passport at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This issue, I don't think it can stop because our same government officials are behind it.
How?
For instance, they will take somebody that is related to them and send the person to the ministry. And when they reach there, they don't want the person to spend more time there. So what they will do is to give money to that person so that when they go, they pass other people to that particular place so that that process can be easy. But other people that went there before them will be sitting waiting. And I don't think it will be necessary. The best thing to do is whenever people are the good people who are always waiting for the rightful time, whenever they see something suspicious like that, they should get in contact with police because that's a corruption. You can't be taking money from the citizen. The process is to fill in the form and go get a passport. You should be taking money from other people so that you to enrich yourself.
Okay. Okay. So they should call the police whenever they see those things happening.
Yeah,
all right. Thank you. Thank you so much. 077-0175162. That's the number to call to be live on the program Integrity Watch. What's your experience with the ministries of transport and Foreign Affairs. We have another caller on this line. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Mohammed from Lady.
Okay, Mr. Famule.
I just agree with the young man who's saying people.
No, Mr. Famule. Mr. Famule, we would rather prefer that you make your point, not to disagree with somebody.
Okay, I agree with you. The point is that if you shall go online, the password is $40.
Mm-hmm.
The person that password is online. My online certificate is correct. Come to the process, give me $40. Give me receipt. Even if it take a longer time. But it's not that it's 2 months, 1 month, but it'll be more than 1 month.
Okay.
Or even more than 6 months. That's what I'm saying. So when I say that the number of people go in the area, especially these branches in rural counties, every county have a ministry of forest. I believe that is there. And the foreign affairs is there. And some of the systems, the change that we have in Monrovia, 3 people there, then the process the pathway where much easier that everybody going to one point to shop. Everybody go there. They call you too much, and the corruption will be too much.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Famule. Thank you. Okay, we have another caller on the line. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Your name and where are you calling from?
Emmanuel, I'm calling for the Kennedy.
Okay, Emmanuel, let's hear you.
Yeah, that's why all the social person is getting the passport, sample, or travel license, all this stuff. The one thing I have problem with, the problem I have with is that, for instance, they can travel license and things. They will go for the statement, they will charge you the amount to get the license for the passport. I don't think it's supposed to be that way.
Okay.
One for example, you have a passport with a travel license, whatever document, the information already exists. So just to bring a new document out or to bring new travel license, so are you telling me that you should pay, what they offer $5 just to bring the document out again? So
Okay.
I think it will be better. It is not in the system, the situation is free altogether. Or at least if you buy the money to prove.
Okay.
I mean, now when you were like making it's been having.
You're going for reprint, yeah.
And if you buy it, the money to prove. If I for example, it's $8.
Okay. All right.
So that's the motivation. It also go across to the passport, the travel license, and whatever document, like the high court or the national review card. So that's my recommendation.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So the program you are listening to is called Integrity Watch. It's a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Wednesday on Truth 96.1 FM. And today we are talking about, we're asking you to share your experience with the ministry about the Ministry of Transport, especially the vehicle registration and the driver's license issuance division. What's your experience? The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Passports Division. What's your experience? People go through serious challenges in terms of accessing documents, in terms of accessing, these key documents in the country. What has been your own experience, and what would you recommend to be done to mitigate these these kinds of things that are happening? People call themselves expediters. They come, they're gathered, and then they keep robbing our people. They keep stealing from our people. We have another call on this line.
Hello?
Hello. Good morning. Your name?
All the ministry you refer to. If it's down to the police, you go get police clearance, you will face the same problem. If you don't have somebody to carry you, you will not get a document.
What's your name, sir?
Passport department.
Your name, you didn't call.
Oh, yeah, my name, Samuel Sings.
Okay, Mr. Sims.
Yeah, or you go to the passport department, you have to get somebody. Yes, right now the passport is going to be taken 150 that one is at 12. From that hour up to 4, 6, all the way to the flat. They're collecting money. They're collecting money from Liberia. Those are sitting in land, those are sitting in land. Do not even be served. Only 150 the director served in a daytime.
Okay. So what do you recommend?
Even you go to the where you get a how you call it, the birth certificate. because when you get there, they call you. You have to give the money charge $100 for gratuity. The normal fare is $500, but our rate is to cover revenue about 2 to 3 months before you get a certificate. It's happening on a daily basis. I'm a witness to that.
What do you recommend?
The government have to set up a budget agent, maybe a bill that they will have inspector on the fee to every ministry. Because the corruption is too much in this country. The government have to set up a bill that will have to take care of just inspectorate department to make sure that the government get the regular revenue for the taxes. But besides that, everybody in the country that we have to criminal. Everywhere you go, if we get any document, you gotta spend somebody extra dollar in the package, and that's it.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for your points, and they are well noted. 07701756162 07701756162. That's the number to call live on the program. Interpreted Watch is a 1 hour radio program. And if you are following us live on Facebook, you can also leave your comments on our live Facebook feed so that we can read it out and then have this. Leave your comments and suggestions as well, your recommendation to mitigate these kinds of problems in our country. So we have another caller on the line. The volume of the radio, if you lower it, it'll be better for two of us. Hello. Yeah, if you just lower the volume of the radio, it's going to be better for us to converse. Hello. Just lower the volume of the radio so that we can have a conversation. Hello, how are you? Oh, not okay. Not okay. I think. Sorry. Sorry. We can't take you. The feedback too much for us to accept. So the number to call is 077-0175-162. If you are calling, please lower the volume of the radio so that we can be able to hear you and not to cause problem for us in the studio. Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from? Okay, Mr. Logan, let's hear you.
Let me just go take for recommendation. I would recommend that you guys have your agent, everything you do inside here, if you do 7 extra, then go through. I'm a Russia, I will collect the citizen revenue to pay our food, to pay our roof, and pay our infrastructure. So my recommendation is that to take the central lead by paying your agent, the representative, all of these sectors. But you're saying you see it today, tomorrow you go there, you see it. So that's my serious recommendation so that you don't get scared with corruption. It's getting serious. Please. That, go to the passport section, go to Minister of Public Rights. You go, is there any other thing for us to do? Go to what I have to do. We are just decided to forget about it. All that stuff. We think of somewhere that if the corruption is due, it's outside, they're not having it. And I even got a minister of justice. If police collecting money from that was in the state, I got a party, you don't do that in Ghana, all of this. It gets worse.
Okay. Thank you so much on this line. Hello. Please lower the volume of your radio and let us have this conversation. Okay. Can you step away from the noise so that? And your name is? Okay, Colba, let's hear you.
Yeah, well, this one is very serious country. I'm going to get mine. First, I'm going to get a passport. First, I'm going to wish I put about 500, I pay 500 for the revenue. When extra because was $250 you go after our people because one thing I know when you go there, was in 2 or 3 1 time. The poor Geo, they let that yes, on our leg. So in November, we said in November. The you want to get so the other day, you said, oh, and I was and you want to go in a while, you keep getting on giving to the short transport and everything. So I said, the same thing. I went there and then something was going to 1 time. They sent always to the edge of the foreign and the foreign the same one. I don't know about the other, so I'm not sure I was supposed to pay. It's not really paying $50 a lot time. I think $50 to get out passport. I can say passport. So now just one thing in this country.
Okay. Okay, Cover. Thank you so much. So the program you are listening to is called Integrity Watch. It's a 1 hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Wednesday on Truth 96.1 FM. Today we've been talking about the issues regarding the accessing passports and driver's license or vehicle registration documents from the Ministry of Transport and then also Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So these are the two ministries we have on our spotlight for today. So we've been talking about people have been sharing their experiences about how this is a serious issue that needs to be addressed. We need to raise revenue for our country. The government of Liberia is seriously in dire need of resources, and the citizens are indeed willing to pay these resources. But how? The process of people who are hired to pay this money, they are not providing the services to the people rightfully. They are subjecting the people to pay extra money that they never budgeted for. Every human being has a line that they work in as part of their budget. But that. What listening is called Targeted Watch. It is a 1 hour radio program the accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Wednesday, Truth 96.1 FM, and it runs from 11 to 12 noon. It is a primary radio-based communication information dissemination platform of CENTAL. So my name is Sam Sota. I'm the Media and Communications Officer at CENTAL. My colleagues, Mark Boandao and Jared T. Wandi, have been behind the camera, making sure that our visibility goes beyond the studio. Join us next Wednesday for another edition of the program. Goodbye.